I have a room that has been that's someone that's been paying rent for a while, not just a couple of months.
And that's one of the things because for me, like getting my own apartment, I remember like I grew up a mama's boy, man. Like, my dad passed away, when I was young.
Yeah.
And so was mom, but I remember getting my first apartment, and I was like, man, I got curtains. I was happy. I had like pillows on my sofa, like I had a bunch of like friends would come over with their girlfriends, and they'd be like, who lives here? And I'm like, I do.
Yeah.
They're like, you got curtains? And I'm like, I got curtains. I got windows. Why wouldn't I get curtains?
Hey, man, they have girlfriends too, shit. They have girlfriends and they still don't even have curtains.
No, yeah, you see. Oh, we're actually on, man.
Yeah.
Hello, everybody. Spider here, DeFi Car Podcast, coming to you once again from San Antonio, Texas. And my guest today, longtime friend, Mark Lozano, my man. How are you, bro?
Good, man. It's a pleasure to see you. It's been a long time.
No, man, I was actually looking up to you, man. We were talking about your height. It had actually been a while since I seen you, even when you were still here and competing, man. It's just, I took some time off. I guess it helps to kind of unplug and just get away from everything.
Yeah.
And I did just that, man. But, I'm glad, I found you once again on social media. We were still there, but, it was just, but, man, you're here in San Antonio, man. What do you think, man?
It's good to be back, man. I tell you, like I said in the last show, I haven't been here since about August, and spent the holidays alone. Spent time just to myself, just in the gym nonstop. So it's good to be back. It's really crazy, actually. It's in a good way.
No, and I'm gonna say because you've been living out there in Arizona for a minute.
Yeah.
So the fact that there's still a lot of solitude because, you go train, you go to work, you go home.
Yeah.
That's basically it, man. So you go home and it's just like four walls and one window, maybe, or two windows if you're lucky, But are you, I don't want to say are you used to that, but is that something that you're kind of like, let me get out of here and go out?
Here and there, it's good to come back. It's good to go home, and it's good to kind of, it's a double-edged sword because, at the end of the day, I'm getting... There's opportunities that I have out there that are hard to find elsewhere.
Right.
So you have to go for these things in life, just in general. But there are times where it's good to you're secluded like that. You'd be real focused, but you can get real burnt.
Yeah.
So it's good to come back. It's good to take a little mental break, and that's what I'm doing right now.
No, yeah, just get a little bit of the social aspects, I guess you can say, man. Because for me, I go home and I'm like that guy that's closing his curtains and I'm dimming the lights, and it's just like, once I get home, man, I like my solitude, man. Don't knock on my door. Yeah. I had my boy Aaron Suarez actually called me earlier through Facebook, and I'm like, man, what the hell are you doing, man? Giving me anxiety, bro. We were laughing about that, but in reality, man, that's the way I am. If I'm home and I'm watching TV, it's 6:30, 7 o'clock. For me, that's just don't come to my door. And I have this neighbor, and man, he'll and I'm like, what the? I don't freak out, but I'm just not used to it. Yeah. So yeah, I kind of freak out. But it's just one of those things that I'm like, I go out there and I'm like, dude, what the hell? What do you want, man?
Introverted, yeah.
Yeah, and he's gone, oh, hey, man, can I borrow your car jack? And I'm like, oh, dude,
okay, fine, yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, cool, but it's just
leave me alone. Yeah, I hear you.
Here's my car keys.
No, I hear you, man. I'm the same way. I love my me time. No, I'm an introvert for sure.
And can that be a good thing, or would you say it's a good thing or a bad thing?
What, being introverted? Yeah. Everybody knows that. Well, because I'm not biased or anything, but I'm definitely an introvert. But everybody knows deep down the introverts are the best.
Oh yeah, you see, man,
they're the most brilliant. That's for sure.
Yeah, you see, yeah, I'll agree. And let me say this though, man, because for me, it's one of those. I have my mom at home now.
Yeah.
My kids are grown. They live with their mom, but it's just.
Yeah.
I don't have that. I guess desire to go out anymore to where. Before with the kids, I take them to the park or we go somewhere. Now it's I go home and check on my mom, of course, and make sure she's good.
Mm-hmm.
But I enjoy it, man. For the most part, I enjoy being home.
I think we just saw our boy there.
Oh yeah, he's out there working, man. I keep telling you, the guy's still building. We're here at the HOJ facility, and you got a quick peek, man. What do you think, bro?
It's a good place, man. It looks solid. It just looks. The mat space was really big. The walls looked like they were gonna stay. It was a good infrastructure there, so.
And I will say this, man, because Aaron Suarez is one of the guys. I don't know if you remember him from back in the day. He used to fight for.
I've probably seen him a few times.
And he looks nothing like he used to now. He's like a grumpy old man, you know. But,
I look nothing like I used to too. I look like a grumpy old man.
no, yeah, you actually still look the same, bro.
I look the same, especially if I get rid of this.
There
I
you go.
promise you.
I was
If I
gonna
got
say.
rid of the beard, I'd look like I was like 19.
No, man, probably younger.
I
bro.
got that baby face. I promise.
But man,
I am bigger though.
No, yeah, dude, by all means, bro. I mean, that's why I was looking at you, and I was like, damn, you keep getting closer.
My dad wasn't a small guy. You know what I
No,
mean?
by no means. I mean, the guy, and that's, you know, I mean, when I first saw you competing, I mean, of course, you were a white belt. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, man. I mean, your pops was, you know, mad side, you know, yelling, you know, hollering.
Always.
Yeah, supporting, man, and that was one of the things I remember. As a matter of fact, man, and I still laugh at this because I remember you had came up to me and you were like, "Hey, are you Mike Kalimba's?"
Oh jeez.
And I was all like,
Oh my god.
I said, no, he's the chubby Asian guy, so the chubby Mexican man. And I remember that, bro, because I was all like, but you know, I mean, the guy, I wish, and I said that with utmost respect, because the guy's a freaking genius when it comes to photography.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
Mike's good.
Yeah, man, the guy, I mean, he did what he did.
You talk to me more than he does though.
No, I think I talk to everybody. Well, you know, when I'm out there, yeah, you know, it's just, I mean, I like to socialize, and you know, it's like. But definitely, man, it's just one of those things, and I still remember that, bro. And I laugh because I'm like, no, that's the other chubby guy, man. Like, but yeah, man. I mean, that was actually the first time.
Well, I mean, it had nothing to do with that. Just the cameras. Like, I see you guys hold a camera, and he held a camera.
Yeah, y'all camera guys with the
He wouldn't wear a hat though. He just had like he wouldn't wear a cap. He just had his hair out.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So.
You see, and the guy, I mean, he's still. I'm assuming he's still out there, man. So by all means.
Yeah, I think he's still out there.
He's still.
He's kind of more pretty jiu-jitsu exclusive rather than MMA based, but.
Well, I know the last time I had seen or heard, he had opened a gym. He's out there, Henzo Gracie affiliate or something up there in Houston. So, I mean, that's a good thing, man. I mean,
Yeah, look at that.
I don't think we stay too far away from the sport. You know, as far as.
When you so-called leave,
yeah, you still kind of attach, you know, get
like Henry,
attached to something, man.
like Cejudo.
There you go.
Thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I actually got to see him back in October last year.
You see, you didn't stand.
Yeah, I got
close
to. Huh?
You didn't stand close to him, though, right?
No, I have a selfie with him.
I'm
serious. No, I'll literally text it to you
okay.
right now. I'll
Yeah.
literally send it to you live on the podcast.
I was gonna say how
I'm dead serious.
How short is he?
Dude, he's a little midget. I love him, but he is a little midget though.
Yeah, because
he's a horny little bastard too. I'm serious. He had a few drinks in him. It was at the Bellator after party back in Phoenix in October.
Oh, nice.
Let me see if I can find it.
The guy is in Arizona.
Oh, I got a few pictures actually. I'm gonna send them all to you. Right now.
Dude. Let me check that out.
I'm literally gonna do that right now. Boom.
Because I will say this, bro, because I know
You're
he
active
fought.
right now. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, he actually fought my buddy
Who?
Elias
Henry?
Garcia.
Oh yeah, Elias. I remember
Yeah,
Elias.
man.
Yeah,
And when he fought him, I was like, I never really sized him because I stood next to, you know.
Yeah, see, I got him right there. I got a couple of them. Yeah.
Oh, you got a couple. Yeah,
I got Mike Goldberg too. I got Jake. We got to
Dude,
meet
what the
him.
hell is this, bro?
Dude, he's way smaller than me. Is you know? I mean, I'm not like a small guy, but I'm not like that. I'm not like that
but
tall.
he is short though.
He's
man.
a short. I mean, he's like built just like me, but just small.
Like a mini version.
Yeah, I have a little bit less melanin too. It's like everything else is the same. My eyes are a little bit more colored, and you know, I got the green eyes, and he's got the brown eyes. But everything else, I just have a little bit of height, and everything else is the same. He's got no tattoos either, so.
Oh, that's right.
He's got that shoulder scar though. I don't have that.
Not yet, man. Oh, you don't want that, man. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he probably did some stuff on himself to get that, but we'll leave that to the viewer to figure out.
No, for sure. And let me ask you, man, have you been able to train with the guy?
With Henry?
Yeah.
I haven't been able to train with Henry, but I've trained with plenty of. I mean, back in January I got to spar with Benson Henderson.
Oh, nice.
So that was pretty surreal, particularly because I've seen him a few times outside of that before. Like I met him at a nursery, like where they were selling Christmas trees. I got to meet him and talk to him there. I got to meet him. Just random, right? Random, what are the odds? And then I also got to talk to him at one of the local cars in Phoenix. One of the Rough promotion, RUF. They have like tons of they have guys like from all over the valley there, like from the lab and from Fight Ready and all these big
Yeah,
gyms.
and you had talked about that too, being that Arizona's hot, dude. I mean, there's a lot of good teams.
Oh my God, yeah.
In there, man. So I mean, I can imagine going out here to HEB and running into somebody. They're like, "Hey, how's it going?"
Dude, that's literally what it's like, and that's what some people that like grew up in the sport over there like don't understand that. They're like, they don't understand how cool that is, but.
You're like, it's just this guy by me.
It's just Henry. It's whatever. Oh, it's just Ben. It's just, or it's Jared Cannonier, or it's Brian Baker.
I had
or
said
whatever.
this, like, there was one year, and I was actually dating somebody at the time, right? And we went out. We went to go to Home Depot. We went to like 5 different places that day.
Yeah.
And those 5 places, I kept running into somebody, and
Really?
everybody's like, "Hey, Spider," and she's like, "Who's that?" "Oh, so and so Jim." And, oh. Next, and like 5 different people, man, and I was just like, and that was like the most I had ever ran into anybody.
Yeah.
So like towards the end of the day, she was like, "Hey, let's go to the Brownfields, let's go to the river." So I'm like, "All right."
Nice.
Go home, pick up stuff, go out there. We park, there's nobody there, bro. Like freaking no river's empty. There's like 4 guys in the tube, right? And all I hear is like, "Spider!" And she looks at me and she's like, "Are you freaking serious?" Like, nobody here, man. And that one person, and I was just like, I was mind blown, man. But
who said that? Who was?
It was actually, man. And I'm gonna.
Not the girl you used to date.
No. Yeah, the gentleman was actually
Steven.
He used to train at Powerhouse back in the day, man. But it was him and some buddies.
Oh, okay.
And,
Man, Powerhouse. I totally forgot about that. That Texas Powerhouse used to be like almost like 6 miles from my house too.
Really?
Yeah, because I went to Churchill, but MacArthur's like, they're both pretty cool. They're kind of in the same area, but I went to Churchill instead. The wrestling was better at Churchill, so I'm glad I went there. But Texas Powerhouse was right next to MacArthur, like right next to it.
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah, man. That was like one of their locations. I know they moved around like a few times, because of they're growing, man. But I mean, there's a couple of.
I don't know if they're still around, but.
The gym itself, no, but everybody else is still.
I don't really know what's around that much anymore, to be honest.
Yeah.
I know Jacobs is coming up, but like.
Right. I mean, the gyms themselves, man. Like BTT's got like 4 locations now. There's the Judge, of course. He's out there on the south side.
He's got the USA gym. I know Rodrigo's around. Ohana's around.
Yeah.
I think those are like the main ones, right? I haven't been here in a while, and.
No, I mean, for the most part, yeah. I mean, there's a couple other smaller gyms opening up, man. And, but yeah, I mean, as far as the bigger gyms, pretty much it, man. I mean, you got GFT, they're everywhere, man. But I mean, it's grown compared to only because, like I tell people, man, when it comes to me, when I started in 2000, I was training with Mike Rangel, and there was like only one other school, and that was it.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until like 2005 that Sergio Maja that came down, Rodrigo Pinero. I mean, all these people started dropping, man, and now we got like all these.
That's when I kind of started. Oddly enough, that's when I started.
When did you start? Like,
I started my first jiu-jitsu competition. I was 11, so and I was born in '98. So I want to say that was. Let's see if I'm math. 2009 is kind of when I started competing. So it's been, damn, that's a long time. I can't believe that was so long ago. God, I feel old. 2009, I was 11. Shit. I'm gonna be 24 in a few weeks in March. So.
Man, you see,
dude, I know.
I will say this.
It's kind of depressing.
No, well, you see, I mean, tell me about it, bro, because I'm like twice that age, man. I will say this though, when it comes to, for me, like people are like, oh yeah, I remember when this show happened and this date, and I'm thinking, okay, like. I kept thinking, oh yeah, it was like 2004, and it was like 1994.
Yeah.
And so I'm like lost when it comes to dates, man. Like I can't remember specifically. I'm like, it happened. I don't know when, but it happened.
You have like an idea of like the year span, probably. Like between 2005 and 2009 or whatever.
Well, for me, it was like between the 90s and 2000s. I don't know what I did, which date. Like,
a lot of that stuff kind of bleeds together. Like you look at stuff like movies and shows, they all look the same between that time frame.
Oh yeah.
You can't tell. You know it's in that era, but you don't know when.
You see, and that's another one because I'll see a movie and I'm like, oh man, that's like I saw that back in
2002 or whatever. It's from 1996.
Exactly, bro.
Or vice versa.
Like, what the world?
Or like a movie that came out in 96, or you thought it came out in 96. It looks older, but it came out in 2004 or whatever, 2003. It looks the same. I mean, those were the days, though, I have to admit.
I think my fault is that I keep seeing the same movies over and over.
Oh, I know. So, these movies depend so much on fan service and just trying to like have little cheap like, oh, remember that from your childhood? Remember that from a previous movie? Oh, there's no substance there, but it's in there. Be happy, you know what I mean? Like even spoiler alert, but like the new Spider-Man, they had a Daredevil cameo from the Netflix series, but he was literally there for like 10 seconds. And the audience, we were supposed to act like this was this brilliant thing, like, oh my God, Daredevil's in it. He's not even hardly in it. It's just Matt Murdock. He just catches something, and we're expected to. I mean, like, the whole movie's kind of like. I'm glad Tobey Maguire was in the new movie because he's awesome, and that's a great job. But I'm glad he was in the movie. Garfield, it was good to see him too. I know I basically kind of so-called spoiled the movie, but everybody knew that was going to happen.
I haven't seen it, but I don't think I will. I mean, if I do, it's like I tell people, I'll wait for it to go to VHS, bro. You know, when it comes out on tape, I'll go check it out.
I was really only there to see Green Goblin. That's like William Dafoe's Green Goblin's so good. It's like Heath Ledger's Joker. It's
out
so
of 5, how would you rate that movie?
Well, there's parts of it that are way better than others. I think overall it'd probably be like a 4 because like William Dafoe's so good at the character, like. Yeah, as a movie. Like if it wasn't for that, it'd be like probably like a 3.5. It would be like kind of more on the good but not like that great kind of side. That's kind of a lot of Marvel Disney movies. It seems like everything's kind of the same.
And I mean, like you said, it's just like you used to do that too when you were a kid. You know what? Let's make 5 episodes out of this thing, man. And it goes nowhere. But I mean, people are eating it up, man.
Well, I think it's because they got nothing else really to grab towards. Like sports these days sucks. Like I mean, the only sport that's really getting better is our sport. Yeah. But even then, some of these decisions.
Well, the judging's not getting that great, but
it feels like it's getting worse. Every single freaking card, that like the Whitaker Adesanya rematch, the Ngannou Gane fight, and then the Usman Covington rematch. All 3 of those had a 49-46 for the champ. Yeah. It really shouldn't have been that. That's insane. Even the John Jones-Reyes fight was a 40. Dude, don't even get me started. Yeah. So it's very, like, the judging's getting worse. And I think it's because they see, like, there's a certain market for champions and there's a certain market for, like, kind of wanting the so-called status quo to remain. You know, like the champions that have been champions to stay champs. So that way, maybe for pay, I don't know. But there's a lot of that going on. And I don't really like it. It's kind of
a lot of it's basically fan base because of course if McGregor's selling thousands of freaking as far as shirts and pay-per-views and everything else, of course the UFC wants that, right?
Plus Ali Abdelaziz has gotta. He makes stuff happen. I'll give it to him.
No, yeah, man. And hopefully, I know there's a few cards, man. Let me ask you this, man, since I have you here. Yeah. Covington, Masvidal, man. Who's going to take that fight?
Covington. I don't think it'll be even very close. I think Covington, people don't want to give him credit because he's a dick. He's a bit of a jackass, but he's doing it obviously to make money. He's actually like a really mellow, chill guy. But I think because of that persona, especially like if someone has more like liberal views, and he's a very outspoken conservative guy. Like people are gonna find reasons to hate him, and that's cool. But like you can't deny the guy can fight. Yeah. Like the guy's good. Usman's pound for pound number 1, and that fight was arguably a draw. The second one, not the first one.
Oh yeah.
But I mean he's good, man. But while Masvidal on the other hand, like he's always gonna be someone that you can't like sleep on them. You gotta like show up, but it's like a 50-50 when he shows up. Like whenever he fights, like I mean the Diaz one, like he won that. The Usman last 2 ones with Usman he lost. And if you look at before he beat Darren too, it was like he'd win 2, lose 2, or vice versa.
Oh yeah, his numbers were up and down.
Yeah, he's kind of sometimes he shows up, sometimes he doesn't. Covington every time is gonna show up. Even though like he doesn't have as many finishes, and he might not be quite as exciting to watch as far as his fighting. He does win though. He knows how to win better. He's got that extensive wrestling background. He's only lost to the champ, while Masvidal's lost to tons of people. There've been good people, but not like the tip top. Like Masvidal got smashed by Usman in the rematch. So
you see, and that was one of the things me and Aaron Suarez were talking about, and we were like, you know what? When it comes to Masvidal, I mean, the top 10 maybe, as far as him having a chance, to actually win, it's just like the top 5, no, but top 10, he can stay in there.
He
but
can.
I don't see him.
I think with certain matchups he does well, but other matchups he just like. I think a guy like Covington just kind of is just too much for him. Just kind of puts he's stronger than I think they're around the same size, but Covington's stronger because he's got that wrestling base like extensively. While Masvidal kind of can defend takedowns and use them when he has to. Covington has been doing it for so long. He's just got that advantage.
Yeah,
and I just think that even on the feet, like I think Covington is tricky. Like he makes it work for what he does, like his wrestling. He makes it like they blend well together.
Yeah.
He's not just like, like he can strike. Like with Robbie Lawler, he was kicking his ass on the feet, and Robbie's got power. Even when he fought Usman in the rematch, like he was stunning him. In the first fight, he stunned him. Like even when he fought Tyron Woodley, he was beating him on the feet. Like he can fight. I mean, I know he's a jerk, but
but he can defend himself. Man.
Oh yeah, and I think he's gonna beat him everywhere. Like he kind of beats everybody other than Usman, basically.
Take him down, pound him, probably knock him out.
He'll land. He wants to hit him in the face, I'm sure, because they got bad blood. But I think as soon as Usman starts to get really wild, Covington will probably level change and just do what he does, just outwork guys, get good position. But yeah, I mean, I've studied him a lot. I've studied Usman a lot. Like something I noticed about the welterweight division is that there's always been whoever's been on top anyway. The guys from like Matt Hughes to GSP and even guys like Johnny Hendricks, Robbie Lawler, like all these guys. They all, other than like maybe Robbie Lawler, all of them like had offensive wrestling that was really good. Even guys that like came close, like Koscheck and even like Covington now, like had good offensive wrestling. It's always been at like welterweight particularly. Like Matt Hughes, defended the belt like 8, 9 times.
Oh yeah.
Took everybody down. GSP did the same thing. Usman takes everybody down. Johnny Hendricks is taking everybody down. Covington too, like Koscheck, all those guys. Like there's so many of them, particularly in that division. I would argue it's like the most stacked wrestler type of division. I would have to say. Middleweight's got a lot of strikers. It's always been like that. Light heavyweight's kind of the same deal. Heavyweight's kind of the same thing. Lightweight's kind of had like a little bit of like everything. Kind of like you got BJ Penn style where he's got boxing and jiu-jitsu, and then you got guys like. Frankie has like boxing and wrestling that like extensively. So like lightweight's kind of got a little bit of everything. Yeah. Charles Oliveira is kind of like not really the best wrestler, but he can pull guard and he's got good like lightweight has like a good the styles that tend to be at the very top are like good combinations of different styles.
Right.
And at welterweight, there's been a lot of really good wrestlers like
it's stacked with wrestlers, man, and they're obviously dominating. Yeah. Except for what's his name? Got knocked out by Masvidal, man. Ben Askren, but he's got no stand up though. I know, man.
And he was like old and like for fighting, he had a lot of mileage on him. Is what I mean.
No, you see, and that's one of the things I always talk about, man. Is because for me, like when these guys finally get an opportunity after competing for 10 years, and then they finally go to the UFC, and by that time they're beat up and battered.
Yeah.
So it's like, I mean, but who,
That's kind of the sport, though. It feels like.
Yeah, because you get some kids get a quick start and they go in there 4 fights in, 5 fights in, they're fresh and they have a longer life expectancy as part when it comes to competition. But yeah, man. I mean, for the guys that get there too late, man. I mean, it sucks, but it's just like, well, I mean, got in there earlier, man.
Trust me, I think about this daily. I think about this all the time. Like not only as far as like, I do wonder kind of like. If I would have been kind of even just doing more competing outside of there, like, because I had to kind of stop competing for a little bit because my parents split up, and I had to you had to figure out life a little bit. So I took a little bit of time from the sport. I wasn't doing like jiu-jitsu. I was just kind of doing wrestling, and then after wrestling season was over, I just kind of like you had to figure stuff out. I wanted to wrestle in college, see how far I could go there, and. I mean, I had things like available, but they weren't really what I was wanting. If I was gonna do it, I wanted to, like full ride or something like that. Right. It wasn't really happening. So I was like, okay, well, we'll just figure it out. We'll go to school. We'll do whatever. And then, oddly enough, the sign that there was a couple things that happened. It sounds like something in a movie. I'm not joking. So there was a buddy of mine who I coached. I was a senior and he was a freshman. We were in the same weight class and. Nathan Alvarez. I've known him for a long time now,
but I got to coach him for a season, or like between like March of 2016 to around like August or so. Got to just work with him a lot, and he got a lot better. And he was like, "Hey, I'm going to state in a few days. Can you help me out?" I'm like, "Shit, yeah, I'm down. I mean, I haven't wrestled in like a year, but I'll do it, whatever."
Damn.
And I'm like, I didn't lose my touch. I like things went way better than I thought they were gonna go, and I was like kicking ass, you know. It was crazy. I was just like, huh. I know my cardio wasn't really there. I was lifting a lot of weights. I was strong, but like I hadn't wrestled in a long time, and it felt like like no time passed.
Man.
So that happened, and then 2 weeks later or so, Alexander Hernandez went and knocked out Benio Dariush in like 36 seconds on a week's notice in Vegas. And I've known Alex for a long, long time, so it was just like there's too many signs pointing towards you got to go back, dude. Like, what are you doing? So, but literally like 2-3 days later, after Alex knocked that guy out, I was in the gym.
You went back?
Yeah, I literally went back. I needed to come home, you know.
No, I mean definitely.
I needed to figure stuff out though first.
And how long did you take out? Like a year? Were you away from the game for a year? Or?
I didn't like from. The last thing I ever did before I started doing MMA again back in 2018 was just wrestling. And the last competition I ever did was in 2016 February. And then, so, almost 2 years. That's crazy. Yeah, it was a while. Now I was wrestling after that still, but I hadn't competed since then. But yeah, like, and then before that, like, I want to say my sophomore year, so about 2.5 years I just did exclusively wrestling, it feels like, or maybe even more than that. But before then I was doing jiu-jitsu and MMA and just kind of adding the wrestling with it. So. And
let me ask you, do you miss the gi?
I mean, I still train in the gi. I haven't done tons of competitions, but that's something I tend to do in the future. Right now I'm focusing primarily on getting my striking up and getting better and going down that route. And then once I, have more experience and kind of have a better idea of where to go from there, I definitely want to put the gi back on and compete again, because like, I tell you what, I think that there's been every single fight that I've had that's MMA based, I've taken their back, every single one. And you take somebody's back, you should finish them. Like, I have no finishes, but I've had dominant performances though in fights, especially my first 3, where I take the back and literally every single one I get mount. I wonder that, like, because I haven't competed in a gi and in jiu-jitsu since 2013, that the finishing ability wasn't quite there. Like, the position, the timing to get there and stay on top, but maybe not the finishing ability. And I'm thinking once I get this kickboxing down more, the competition, everything, I'd like to get back in a gi and start choking people the fuck out again.
Getting their back and then...
Yeah, because I can do anything that I put my mind to. That's a fact.
Oh, definitely, man. You see, and then let me ask you this, because obviously you were in MMA, so getting somebody's neck or going for the submission, was it partially like you didn't want to give up that position? That you were like, you know what, let me just stay here and just pound, because you can still pound.
Yeah, well, I would sometimes actually do the opposite, where like I wouldn't really throw tons of punches, just started going for a submission right off the bat, because that's what you know. But like, or even sometimes, like in my last MMA fight, I had a rear naked choke. He got out of it. And I think I should have just kept the hooks in and maybe tried to turn him over and start punching him a little bit. But instead, I went to the full mount and then immediately got into an arm triangle choke, just like quick, because that's what you do in jiu-jitsu. You go real like fast transition. I went from like one submission, 2 seconds later there was another submission on him, and he was like this, fuck, But
give him any space, man. That's pretty good.
But I looking back though, I wish I would have just maybe not try to. Maybe threaten with a choke and just start punching, see what he gives me as far as like, is he going to get with the position? Is he going to start covering up? If he starts covering up, start throwing punches. If he starts fighting the position more, punch, probably mostly just punch him though, but little stuff though, but you learn that through experience.
No, definitely, man. And you drove over here, of course, man. How was the trip?
How was the trip? Yeah. Saw a lot of cool ass pictures. I sent you some of them actually.
Oh yeah, definitely, man.
And the drive was only like 13 and a half hours, though. It wasn't too bad. Damn. There's worse though. There's 2 routes that they offer. One of them was like over 17 hours. The other one was 13 and a half. I'm like,
You're like, huh?
Gee, I don't know. That's tough to decide. One's on a highway, the other one's on back roads.
So I want to get there at 3:30 or 6:30. You're like,
yeah, I don't know. That's a tough call.
And that's that's not the first time you've driven back, though, right?
No, that was my second. The first time was terrifying, though.
Damn.
Like coming back, I was like, "Fuck, this is a long drive. What if the car breaks down? Whatever." And this time, I was just like, "Yeah." I mean, I like to get the car done and everything, like get oil change and all that other stuff before I go.
No, definitely, man. I mean, I haven't done a road trip. I drive around all day because I do a contract. You know, I deliver furniture throughout the city, but it's like, and this is my thing because I can drive literally like 5-6 hours in one day, and then when it comes to like me going to Austin, I'm like, damn, I don't know if my truck will make it. And I'm thinking
because it's
like,
bumper to bumper bullshit traffic. That's why.
Yeah, but it's just. But I'm thinking like, man, I drive just 6 hours.
Or you might hit somebody because they're like going and then they stop, and, and then you got to do it, and it's really.
And that's the worst, especially.
That's just stressful. That's like gonna take years off your life doing that every day. Don't do that to me because I'll shout in the car. I'm like, "This is bullshit!" Like, why is it? You know?
Are you deaf? You're like, beep, honking,
dude.
Man, but it's gotten worse.
Yeah.
I don't want to say it's gotten better.
The traffic is terrible.
For me, it's like if I got a delivery and I know it's going to the other side of town, like I already know my back street, so I'm like, you know what, I'd rather spend an extra 10-15 minutes driving than be stuck in traffic for 45 minutes to like an hour, man. I'm like, nah. But that's just me, man. I still get around though, man. I mean, luckily I was a mailman. You know, I was a letter carrier for years, man. So luckily I got to deliver all over the city, so I know back roads.
Yeah, you know the city well.
Yeah, so I can, you tell me, hey, you take 410 this way, I'm like, oh, no, I'll go down Callahan and turn here, and I'll be there in a bit. But, man, how long are you going to be here, man?
I'm going to come up back up there probably on Saturday. There's a teammate of mine that has a big kickboxing fight. David Fisher, who's going to be on the, I told you, he's going to be on the national team. Or he's qualified for the Olympic trials here in next month. They'll be in Colorado in March. He's qualifying for that, and I have more teammates doing. I have more people on my team doing that tournament than any other team in the country as far as like the amount.
Bro, that's
So
that shows a lot, man.
Yeah, Muay Thai is pretty big over like where I'm at. So there's a lot. There's nationals that always takes place over there and stuff like that.
It's starting to pick up here some. I mean, I know.
Yeah, it has actually.
Just a couple more.
Because our state's actually open.
Yeah. Yeah. I won't argue with that one, because I mean, but right now it's looking good, man. I mean, as far as this whole virus thing, of course, is still there, but not there. But
I hear you. I hear you.
It's just like, I mean,
we're dealing with it, but like I think people kind of need to just get the fuck over themselves. Like seriously, like.
Oh yeah. I mean,
I don't want to get too much into that, but man, it's some people like. At least early on, it made sense to kind of be a little anxious. But now at this point, if you're still anxious and like we're living in paranoia, you're just a pussy. I'm sorry, but like.
No, you see, and my thing is, even before COVID, I mean, years before, man, there were still diseases out there. That,
of course.
And I'm thinking, I'm like, dude, I mean, were you out there being careful? Were you? And people didn't give a shit, man.
They're living their lives.
I'll have unprotected sex. I'll do, it's like, they don't care, man. And so, but now this pops up, and all of a sudden,
people are like got their tail between their legs, you know.
Yeah. Like, I mean, it is what it is.
A lot of people are cowards. It's kind of what it shows me. The world's full of cowards. It's not everybody, but like there's a lot of them, you know.
Oh yeah, you see, but you see, and my thing is, I've been out there with customers delivering furniture, and I know in the beginning they were like, hey, leave everything outside.
Yeah.
And I get there, and it's like some old lady, and I'm like, I can't. How's she gonna get the sofa inside? So I'm like, man, can you just can I go in there? Oh yeah. Put on my mask, put on my glove, just to make them feel comfortable, and but I mean,
makes sense.
Get paid, man. But after I was done, I'm like, all right, let's go to the next one.
Yeah, seriously.
But yeah, man. But other than that, like I didn't stop working. You know, it's like everybody.
I lost my job at the time, so. I mean, like when all the lockdowns, like in March, that's when all that was going on. I had a fight for LFA that was going to be headlined in the prelims.
Damn.
And I mean, I was only out there for a couple months. I was fighting some guy that apparently nobody wanted to fight. I was like, fuck it, I'll fight him. I get to fight for LFA here in Phoenix, like in town, and I get to be like basically I have nothing to lose in that fight because I was I was fighting at 85 and those guys are a little bigger.
Yeah.
And he was a good wrestler. I'm a good wrestler, but like. usually people typically will favor the bigger guy in that type of environment, even though it's. But either way, like I took the fight nobody wanted to take, but so I was like right there. That got scrapped and lost my jet. It was a rough time for me.
Damn, and you were still out there though. I mean, you stayed out there in Arizona, right?
Yeah, I stayed out there. I went home for like maybe a week or two just to kind of see, like, because everybody kind of like got scared. My mom was like, "You need to come home. I'm scared," and this and that. I'm just like, all right, cool. I'm kind of scared too, actually. So, because we didn't know what was gonna happen if because everything got shut down, and because like when everything's shut down like that, like. There's some stuff you see in like movies, like those like political thriller movies that could become possible, you know.
Yeah, and that's basically what it was. It was like one of those low budget films that somebody brought to life, and now we're like, okay, don't breathe the air, 6 feet away, and that's enough for me to be safe. And
people, you remember that movie, The Happening, with Mark Wahlberg?
Yeah, bro.
People acted like that shit was going on when COVID happened.
See, and that's funny you say that because when all this was going on, I thought about that movie. I mean,
dude, it's like the same thing. It's plants getting mad or whatever.
There's like this movie called The Virus from the 90s, and same thing, man.
Wow.
It's out there, and you're kind of like, they play that eerie music, and there's nothing but air, but
you see people like slowly dying and stuff. Yeah, a little bit paranoid as far as the view goes.
No, yeah, and they're still out there trying to feed something, but yeah, it's like, I mean, for the most part, everybody's
kind of
moving
just
on.
Yeah, everyone's like, okay, yeah, it happened. Let's move on with their lives.
Yeah, let's keep going.
There's people with power that are trying to take advantage of it as much as they can.
Yeah, and another thing too, man, with politicians, and then they would show pictures of them as soon as they're done, they're taking.
Oh yeah. Oh my god.
Like hugging everybody, and I'm
no.
like, okay, yeah, that's not selling it, man. I mean, I don't.
It's
But
all,
yeah, I mean,
it's
it is what it is,
It's
and
a
hopefully,
ruse, you know.
Hopefully, the rest of the year clears out, man.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Well, I mean, we got an election in a couple months. I'm sure some things will happen. I'm sure there'll be
be
some like, oh, we got some great news for the economy or whatever.
We can't vote.
Or they'll get us into or this war thing will get worse or whatever. Something like dramatic will happen. I don't know about like substantial, but something like with a lot of like, like some like some stuff you see on E will pop up probably.
You see, and there's a promotion happening. It probably already. Oh, it did start, man, but it's a hardcore fighting championship in Russia, and it's Team USA versus Team Russia, man. And when they put one of the fighters I interviewed, man, they posted that, I was like, damn, dude, I wonder if it's a political move, man,
I think it's just a nation versus nation thing.
Yeah, they're gonna go out there and compete, man. So hopefully,
right now, I think that's a fair assessment. Like America and Russia are like probably the top countries for MMA. I mean, Brazil's there, but I think Russia's kind of surpassed them, and we're so much bigger of a country, so it's kind of not really fair. But maybe they're not like born here, but they come here though, and they fight out of Vegas or Florida or Arizona.
Oh yeah, they're everywhere. Yeah.
But they do come here though. Maybe they're not always born here. I will say that does suck about like I don't think there's a single American-born champion other than Rose Namajunas in the sport right now.
That's a good question, man.
I think that's the case, and that sucks. Like, what the fuck?
Really?
All the events are here. We can't get one of our own. I don't know. Really? That's kind of pathetic. But
let's start sending all the Americans out to win the titles everywhere else.
I'm gonna go over to Tiger Muay Thai. I'm just kidding. I'm sorry. No, I'm kidding, Dan. I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna go over to Thailand and Russia and fight for Team Fedor. Ryan's gonna kill me when he hears that. Ryan's gonna be because he's fought so many guys from that team.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah, he's fought Fedor. He fought Moldavsky, the guy he just beat, and then he fought Nemkov from there. He'll probably fight some other guy from there in the future.
Oh yeah, they'll try to feed him.
They'll probably give him Fedor again or something. Who's from that team?
He's got one more fight from what I heard.
He's fighting Czech Congo next for the belt because he won the heavyweight title again, defended his belt. Now he's fighting Czech Congo in a rematch. It's a good fight for Ryan. It's a good. Ryan goes and gets a nice paycheck and wins a fight he's very capable of winning because he was smashing Czech Congo in the first fight. He poked him in the nose. He was trying to like posture up so he can throw some ground and pound. I think his thumb got caught in the nose, and then Czech Congo was like, "Oh my eye," like a little faggot fucking pussy. Well, he literally did that. There's video. I don't know if I can find it on here, but. It's insane.
You see, and the thing about like with Bader, man, is that he's fought at 205, and he's fought at heavyweight, and he's kind of like an in between, man. Because at heavyweight, he's
like
quick.
He's like the perfect 235er.
Yeah, man. He's quick. He's agile. I mean, he can still move around. a lot better than a lot of the heavyweights, so that's
Yeah.
definitely good, man.
He's
So-
better. I will say he's better at heavyweight, though, in my opinion, because he doesn't have to drop, 25, 30 pounds in a week
No, yeah.
at 38
absolutely.
or 39 years old.
Yeah.
Like, you can only do that for so long. I think I want to say he's 38. He'll be 39 this year, but he could be even older than that. He's almost 40, and he's still beating the top guys. I mean, and I get to train with somebody like that on a day-to-day basis. Especially, I haven't been doing it as much because I've been focusing more on Muay Thai, and I didn't going to a different place for that. But when I was doing a lot of MMA too, like when he fought Machida,
Yeah.
I was there a lot. It was basically like Ryan was working with Coach Jai, and then like he's gonna work with Ryan more than me, obviously. But like I would get in there like right after because Ryan was fighting Machida's a southpaw, and I was fighting a southpaw, so it was kind of
Oh, damn.
we were
Yeah.
stuff that Ryan did. I was like, okay, I'm definitely gonna look to do that. It just makes sense. And we both won, so it was cool.
So it worked out.
Yeah, it worked out.
Man, and as far as, of course you had a fight just recently, but you're
Yeah.
looking to compete again this year.
Yeah, I might do another kickboxing fight in March, maybe. We'll see if that materializes, but if not, I still got to register for it. But Nationals for Muay Thai will be in April in Phoenix. It's a 3-day tournament, April 7th through the 10th, and still got to register for that thing, though. The logins are super weird. I'm not joking. You ever try to, like, register for something, then it says, so you got to make a little profile and the log. Dude, that stuff is so annoying because I'll do it on my phone and I'll make the passcode and it says reset it and make your like all this stuff and you keep doing what they're telling you and it doesn't work. So I'm just gonna try to do it on like an actual computer, see if it works then because this is not happening.
I know. I was gonna say with my phone, I go through that a lot, bro, and it's just like password not found or password not correct, and I'm like, dude, I just freaking changed
I
it
know,
like,
man.
for the third time.
Like, yeah. Why even have technology at all? Why can't we just write it down on pieces of paper and mail it? And
No, yeah. You see, and one of the worst things, I guess, for me was when people actually stopped answering their phone. When it comes to business, you call and it's like, press 1, press 3, and then it's just, after a while, I'm like, man, I'll just show up and see who's there, man. But,
yeah.
Just got ridiculous. Let me ask you, as far as, like you said, jiu-jitsu, man, I mean, you do train with a gi. I had no idea. I thought you had maybe stopped or just because you were...
No. I mean, as of right now, I'm primarily, like I said, focusing on striking. But, like, when I'm doing MMA, I'm doing everything. I'm wrestling. I'm doing jiu-jitsu. I'm getting, doing the cage rounds. Like, start with one guy on a single leg or, these types of positions. I'm training everywhere. I try to be as complete, have solid fundamentals everywhere.
Man, and coming home, let me ask you, man, you used to have your old room? Or did they move everything out, man?
No, I still have it. It's not like the same as far as like the display and everything, but it's still, still my old room. You know what I mean? I don't care what nobody does to it. That's still my room. I was born and raised in that room. So.
I was gonna say, cause you get home and mom's like, "Oh, I rented your room out." And you're like, "What the?"
I would just wouldn't even say anything. I'd just be like,
out.
You traded my room?
Of course, she would never do that, but
Nah, she wouldn't. I love my mom.
I had to ask.
She wouldn't
That's
do
it,
that.
man. I mean, I know. Years back, I had moved out of my mom's house, and in the house, the old room that I was in, there was a garage, closet, and I had put all my stuff in there, man. I had like just stuff that I was like, you know what, I'm gonna leave it here. And months passed. I went by one day and I said, you know what, I was looking for this shirt, and I said, man, it's in my closet. So I go back there and I'm like, I open up the closet and comforters everywhere, man, and I'm like, what the hell? So I go to my mom and I'm like, hey, where's my stuff? Oh, I got rid of it. And dude, I was pretty upset, man.
Yeah,
there was a lot of stuff in there that I just wanted to hold on to, and I was like, damn, but she got rid of a lot of like stuff
up,
that, man. Just she assumed I didn't want it, and I said, yeah, that's kind of why I was like, that's why I asked if I could leave it here.
Yeah, speak up.
Yeah. So
hey,
happened,
not even
man.
God will hear if you don't speak up, right?
No, exactly. You see, that's ironically, that's one of the things my mom always says. If you don't speak, not even God can hear you.
It's true. Yeah, I learned that lesson. First. I've learned that in the past, like the hard way. So.
I think we all have. Believe me.
Yeah.
It's just. But on that note, how hard is it for you to ask for help, man? Like, if you're stuck in a rut, are you like the type that's like, hey?
I guess it depends on the situation. Sometimes, I'll try to like get the situation done. If I have to ask for help, I try to get the situation done with, thank them and then try to act like it didn't happen. I don't know. I'm one of those types of guys. Like, okay, yeah, that was embarrassing. Yeah, that
Yeah,
kind
what
of
are you talking
sucked.
about?
All right. Anyway, thank you, but
Right.
I'm not doing that fucking shit ever
Yeah,
again.
next.
All right, let's not make the same mistake or whatever. You know, like just like okay, no.
Yeah, so
Hey,
normally-
I owe you for this one. All right, okay, gotcha, thank you. All right, fucking next.
Yeah,
Like that's kind of my mindset. I'm just like, this doesn't look good. All right, well, what do I do here? I want to get this over with. I want to get this, out of my way. I'm gonna do what I got to do to make that happen. Say thank you, be gracious, all that stuff, and then afterwards, all right, let's never have that fucking happen ever again.
Let's move on. You see, and for me, I'm on the same note. Like it has to be something really, really bad that I'm like, okay, yeah, I need help.
Yeah,
'Cause
I
otherwise,
think that
like,
comes with age. Eventually, you just kind
I'll
of
starve and I'll sleep outside if I have to. Like it's just, I've done that, been there, done that. But
Fortunately, I haven't needed to. Fortunately, but that could. I mean, with the way this decade's going, we'll see how far that goes, right?
Okay, sleep in your porch.
Dude,
Sleep outside.
all the.
You see, and I would have been happy with that even back when I was, I was struggling. And I
What's
was
that?
actually like without a home. I was homeless. I didn't have a place, but I had a vehicle and I had a job, so I slept in my car. But it was just like in the '90s, man. It was like crazy times, and it's just, I learned from it. It took about a few mistakes, but I finally said, okay, I gotta make sure I'm 100% because
Yeah, you
Never
can't
know,
keep
man.
living like that.
no, not at all. I mean,
God,
a
that
lot of
sucks.
those were choices on me. I mean, it's just.
Yeah.
Living with people and then deciding it's not gonna work, and I'm like, okay, where am I going? Like, I got
Yeah.
nothing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, all right. Let me ask you, man. When you drive back, man, normally when do you leave? Like in the morning? Early
I'll leave in the morning, yeah, because it'll get dark. It's over half a day drive. I mean, it's not quick, like it's gonna take some time, and I always bring like an energy drink with me.
Oh yeah, bro. I would imagine.
I try to drink that like halfway, because like halfway, like afterward, like those last 3 hours are a little, especially the last 2 are rough, man. Like you start to kind of get really tired.
Mountains
and yeah, just going up and down. Like I was 7 to 8 hours. I was fine, and afterwards I just kind of go.
You're like, okay.
It just happened. I just got way slower, and I needed to blink a little bit. I needed to turn the volume.
Oh, yeah.
I guess because it was night and that happens, but I think it's easier though going over here because it's a later time here. So like, I guess the sun. Maybe that doesn't matter that much, but like it does help because like when you get there, you're gonna be like it gives you an hour less. Like instead of being home at 7 or 8 in the night,
Right.
it's an hour earlier. So.
And is that the farthest you've driven?
Yeah, actually, that's the farthest I've driven. I'll probably do some traveling down the road, like cross training. Like Alex is over in Colorado. Me and him have talked about. Hey, I mean, there's plenty of good bodies for me probably to train with over at Factory X. As far as it's got some smaller guys. Like I'm at a smaller gym that has like good guys, but it's a little bit. I get like a little bit more attention. But over there, there's just like more. There's like more bodies.
Yeah.
There's more bodies at a high level, and it's just good to kind of go up there and get a train. And it'll probably be a similar type of drive if I. If/when I make that decision to go up there and do some cross training. And it's not just there. Like, I mean, down the road especially, like, I mean, there's plenty of places to cross train in Phoenix, to be honest. Like, I'm at Power MMA. I could go in Dan's gym. I could go to the lab. I could go to Fight Ready. I mean, most of the times I've gone over to the lab, though, like to do sparring and stuff like that, so.
And how is the relationship out there when it comes to cross training? Are people cool?
People are chill with that, relatively speaking. There's been people that have trained at both Fight Ready and the lab. There's been people that trained at Power MMA and then now they're at Fight Ready, or they're at Power and now they're at the lab, or vice versa. It's all kind of happened. So.
Oh yeah, I mean, I guess for me it's a good thing when they have the open door policy, just because you might have people at your weight class more on one gym than the other, or guys fighting in softball like you mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
So of course, getting that experience helps, man.
Oh yeah.
And now let me ask you now. Right now, what would you say? What's your goal for this year? I mean, of course, getting another fight, maybe 2, but I mean,
We'll get more than that. Are
you thinking? Because I know you got a dresser the other day, man. So are you thinking nightstands or what? What are you adding, bro?
Oh my god. I actually for that anyway, for my room, I'd probably just say like maybe like I guess does it count as curtains? Like I have like the what do you call it,
The blinds?
Yeah, I have the
Right.
yeah, I have blinds and stuff like that, but sometimes the sun just glares, and so I think I'm probably just gonna get that. I got tools and stuff like that now. I had to go and now I have the money and the time to actually go do it. I might as well just do it.
Yeah, and we were joking earlier, man, but I was telling you, when I first got my first apartment, I was just like, man, I had pillows in my sofa, I had curtains, I had, paintings on my wall. I mean, it's just, I don't know, it just kind of added a little bit more life into the apartment itself, but...
I'll probably have to get some curtains, I'm not gonna lie, because that stuff gets really dark. Like, or it gets really bright, I should say, when there's no curtains. It gets a little hard to sleep or do whatever.
Oh, yeah, especially, man. You don't want to wake up, especially you want to sleep in and you don't want to wake up too early.
Oh, my God, yeah, no kidding.
And now, pets, you don't have any pets, right?
I do not have any pets. I'll probably end up getting a little bulldog, though.
Seriously?
Probably. Something
cool,
awesome.
Oh, yeah.
If I'm gonna have a little companion, I want a little companion that can, rough some people up. Not really, but
You see, and for me, honestly, man, like we have 4 dogs at home.
Yeah.
And we've got 2 birds, we got fish, they got like 2 fish tanks, we got a turtle. Man, we're like a freaking petting zoo.
Yeah.
But the dogs, bro, like every morning, like clockwork, like 4:30, 5 o'clock, man, start yapping and barking, and sometimes I get up and put them out, and I can go back to sleep, and that's barely. But for the most part, man, I wake up and that's it, man. I gotta wake up at 4:30 in the morning. And
Busy man.
Yeah, I try to be, man. I mean, I ain't gonna lie, I have idle hands, so it's like if I don't do something, won't be good.
I was just thinking about, how you have that little fight card. This is the fightcardpodcast.com and the little thing in the middle.
Oh yeah.
That little logo would look so dope on a pair of shorts.
That actually was.
It really would, because it's got the colors and everything, and it's got the little seeming. It kind of almost looks like a fist in the middle too, borderline.
I didn't think about that.
Dude, I'm not joking. It's something to think about. I know I am. So.
No shame, man. We'll make it happen.
Yeah.
I know. I mean, as far as banners, I got my local guy, man. So I know I've done logos on shorts. I've done.
Yeah.
When it comes to like rash guards and other outfits, but
big time.
You can definitely get something going there. Definitely.
Yeah. I was thinking about adding there's a place where I go and get my hair cut. There's like barber place, and I was thinking about maybe having them eventually like, hey, like I could wear like a logo on there. If they could, that'd be cool as well. I'll have to talk to them next time I get a cut. Probably like next month. Probably like early March. Well, yeah, like middle, probably like March 7th or something. That's probably when I'll get it. Probably for my birthday.
And let me ask you, what's up with the beard, man? When did that start?
I just started I don't know. I just started growing it, and it can grow really fast, and I just I do have a razor though, and I don't even know what happened to it. It's just being weird, and so I just kind of stopped shaving, and I think I'm dead serious.
Man, well,
God makes everything for a reason. So.
Yeah, you see, my oldest one.
I look better with it, I think.
Well, it gets your character, man. I mean, definitely, because
makes me look a lot wiser.
If you shave and then you go to the store, you don't drink beer, right?
Very rare. I mean, I'll do it with like other people, but like I'm not a drinker by any means. If that makes sense.
I was gonna say, because if you try to go buy beer with no beard, man.
That's not happening. Man. That's not happening.
Even with the beard, they'll probably still cart.
They'll still cart my ass, even though I'm about to be 24.
And I mean, obviously, man, like we talked before. I mean, as far as like when you started, I mean, you were 11, 12.
Yeah.
And here you are, man.
Yeah, and it's been a hell of a journey even up to this point. I can only imagine what it's gonna be like in another 12 more years or so. It'll be crazy. I mean, I'll be looking at like this moment in 12 years and be like, holy shit!
Like, damn, was that 1990 or 2000? You're like still trying to figure out what year it was.
Was that 22 or was that 26? It's 2038 now. I don't know which one it was. The 20s were wild.
Can you imagine that? Even now, like the other day, I was just like, damn, just freaking 2022, man. Like,
dude, I know. Ever since 2020, it's been just kind of
freaking rushed through.
Yeah, everything kind of feels like a huge kind of train wreck-ish, if I'm being honest. Like it's a huge like roller coaster,
Yeah.
You don't know where you are, you're upside down, or we'll see where this goes in the future.
That's freaking life, It's like I know I've hit a few bumps on the road, and
Canada, it's pretty chaotic over there right now.
Is it really?
Yeah, I mean they're not gonna cover it in the news, but it's been crazy.
You know what? That's one of the things. Like growing up, man. My mom, I mean, she used to watch Telemundo, Univision in Spanish, bro. And one of the things I liked about that was that they don't censor shit, dude.
They just tell you what they want.
Bang and No, but they put the news. Like if people there's a war going on, people are dying. They're like
they'll show it. They don't hide it like over here.
No. Yeah, over here they'll kind of like, okay, let's put the camera this way and show.
They angle it. They kind of like spin it away where they want to, like, so they can push what they want.
Oh yeah, their agenda and story.
I try to tell my mom that all the time. She doesn't get it.
She's like, go to your room.
Yeah, she's just kind of like, I don't know. She'll rant. People. It's not just her. Like, I think people will kind of like rationalize what they see. It's like, no, things aren't really that bad. It's just this. People do that so that way, like, they can't. You know what I'm saying? Like, people will do that so that way they can kind of like get it. It's like an escape almost.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, yeah, they feel safe. It's just, let me say this, like, because I do deliver furniture. Yeah. I go to these subdivisions. You know, some of them have a security up front. Some of them you need a code to get in. Yeah. And you need a code to get out. Mm-hmm. And my thing is, I always wait for somebody to drive up, and I just follow them. I always tailgate them. But I get there, and they're like, customers are always like, how'd you get in here? Yeah. And I gotta say, oh no, well, the security guard let me in, or the and I can see their face kind of like, okay, like relieved. Yeah. And I'm thinking, man, that's not. They're so used to feeling safe, but in reality, like, you're not. You know, and it's just like one of the things, like, I mean, but it freaks people out, man. I do that a lot when I just go in, or I'll have a code and I just go in anyway, and I'm like, hey, I'm here, and they're like, oh, well, how'd you get in here? Yeah. And I'm thinking, how's everybody else getting here, right? Like, it's just like a false sense of security, I guess you can say.
Yeah, no kidding.
But yeah, that's just one of the things I noticed, man. But yeah, let me ask you, man. When you came, what did you bring with you, man? You didn't bring anything with you?
I brought like my TV. I brought my PlayStation and stuff like that. Man, I'm trying to just like relax for a little bit, you know, because like I'm not trying to really think too much about. I mean, I'm here, but other than that, I haven't seen anybody MMA related since I've been out here.
Tunnel vision.
Yeah, I just try to like, all right, this is my chance to see family. I don't know when I'm going to be able to see them again. I mean, I know, like, when I get closer to, you know, I take things probably a day at a time, or try to anyway. Right. I don't try to live, you know, too much into the future. I try to just better myself each day, because that's all you really can do. Because if anything, like, life doesn't sometimes go as planned, you know, things don't.
Oh, yeah, bro.
There's so much stuff that is out of our control, and it's just, so you got to take it a day at a time. You got to do what you think is right in that moment. That's really all any of us really can do. I try to just live by that. So.
No, yeah, I mean, we kind of have to, you know.
Yeah,
I mean,
no kidding.
The whole incident that happened with COVID. I mean, it's like people kind of ran around like a
chicken with their head cut off.
Exactly, man, and it's just like
buying all the toilet paper and all that shit.
I was gonna say, man, I go to the grocery store, buy shit they don't even eat just to buy it. You know, it's like. I know, like, man, I mean, I didn't freak out, you know. My girl works at the hospital, and she was dealing with she was like in back doing the orders and getting everything, so she didn't work with people directly, but like, even then, I didn't like freak out, man. I was just
the only thing that freaked me out was like, not the virus itself, but like the response to it, like how people are gonna react. And like, let me tell you, man, like, I was in a dark place. I would go and like, cause, you know, money was in a weird place. We didn't know what was going to happen as far as financially goes. So I'm like, I'm not joking. I went full caveman. I was like, you know what? Seriously, like, I'm not eating with lights on. I'm going to cook, like, you know, like, I try to get like crops and like weapons and stuff like that. I'm serious. I like made my own weapons.
Hey, I don't blame you.
Dude, I didn't know what was going to involve. And so, the thing too is that like there was a place where I was working, and there were riots going on this time of 2020, and the place got burned. So, like, the place I used to work at, like, it got burned down by these riots. So it was scary.
It was like, okay, I gotta get something.
Yeah, well, like, I'm not gonna lie, I just kind of secluded. I was very secluded. I was kind of just like went into like, okay, like each day, there's a chance that like I could run into and someone might try to like kill me or something like that, because people are so freaked out. They want to just see someone, like I was in a state where I was like kind of mentally preparing for something like that.
No, I mean, yeah, like I said, I don't blame you, because even then, even now, I mean, people are still, as soon as they say, oh, price might go up, like people are already filling up like cars and going crazy, man. And I mean, prices have gone up. I mean, I've noticed them. I gotta fill up like
the gas is not even close.
But it's just well, what is gas over there right now?
Gas over there is like $3.80.
Damn, dude.
Yeah, I know. I mean, it's not that bad for Arizona. Things are more kind of expensive up there, but like people get paid more money too. It's one of those things. But like, it's you know, Phoenix is a big place. It's one of the biggest cities in the country. It's one of the biggest cities in the world. So it's one of those, you know, it's one of those types of things. Things are going to be, you know, not LA expensive, but like more in that direction than like San Antonio. So, but I mean, it's a good place to live though. I just wish it kind of would get more rain. I wish there was a way to combine like home here and like over there, you know, just because there's things that are irreplaceable here and there's things that are irreplaceable over there, and so it's just. But I mean, it's not that far away, so it's not too bad.
No, but I mean, you know, you drove out here. When did you get here? Yesterday?
I got here on Sunday night technically.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's Wednesday now, right? It's Wednesday.
Yes.
Yeah.
I woke up yesterday thinking yesterday was Wednesday, so I was like, I had like scheduled people for Friday, and I was like, yeah, I'll do it this day, and then it turned out it was Tuesday, and I was like, shit.
Yeah.
So I had to call a couple of people this morning and like, hey, something came up, somebody canceled. You know, if you're interested, I'll do your delivery, and they're okay.
Yeah.
So I got some stuff done today. I still got some tomorrow, but yeah, man, I actually have a promoter coming in tomorrow, boxing promoter, man. He's gonna be hosting another event here. So I'm looking forward to that.
That sounds dope.
You know, and I did bring that up through messages, man. As far as Chris Lopez, man, he's actually starting the Lopez Sports and Entertainment.
Yeah.
It's going to be an amateur promotion from here in San Antonio, and they're going to be doing amateur kickboxing. You know, so that's something to look forward to. I mean, we haven't had a local promotion like that in a minute.
Yeah, no kidding,
so,
right?
You know, I mean, as far as the amateur fighters, man, I mean, I'm excited because.
Me too.
You know, it's like you guys. It's better to wake up and go fight that day than wake up and have to drive 3-4 hours. Go and weigh in, and then all that other stuff y'all got to deal with.
Yeah, no kidding.
And now, I mean, you've been here, but you haven't gone anywhere, right? You said.
Hardly. I mean, I saw one of my friends from high school. I saw went to the dentist earlier, and I went and saw my grandparents yesterday too, and that's really about it. I'm just keeping it. I'm like I said, like this is a time where I kind of just get to relax and unwind and not think about fighting, not think about training for like a week. You know, pretty much. You know, I'm gonna enjoy it. I've been enjoying it, but I also cannot wait to get back in there and get better and get out there and fight and win.
Man, well, I mean, for sure, but let me ask you, when you went to the dentist, man, I mean, being a fighter, being a competitor, did they say anything about you? I mean, were they like...
They honestly, like, I don't know if they were blowing smoke, but they were giving me nothing but praise. They were just like, wow, your teeth are amazing. And I'm like, well, yeah, I get punched in the mouth. What do you expect? No, I'm kidding. No, I didn't say that. I'm kidding. But, no, they were really nice to me, though. And I never had to have braces either. Never had to have braces. My dad, oddly enough, would be like, hey, well... He would fuck with me a lot. He'd be like, hey, Mark, you don't brush your teeth are going to fall out, and I ain't getting you braces. We can barely afford to keep the rent up here. So, I mean, you want a pair of teeth? You don't want to have, like, a fake pair of teeth? Brush your teeth, and if you don't do it daily, you don't take care of them, sorry.
No, don't smile. Don't smile.
Like, that's pretty much how it was. He's like, you're kind of on your own. Like, I do enough for you. I mean, I feed you.
You're like, Dad, I'm only 4.
I take you to jiu-jitsu. Like, you know, I'm not giving you... There's only so much I can give you. You got to get it your own. And you got to... A smile, you can't do that on your own, basically. It's like, what are you, gay?
That's crazy. I can hear him saying that, though, man. That's a funny part.
It's like, yeah, I mean, you're my son. I love you. But, like, you know...
I'm not buying
I'm not. Why would I buy you braces? Like I take you to jiu-jitsu regularly. I buy you food. You know, I deal with your bullshit. Like, why would I? That's literally like.
Man, I was thinking about this the other day because when I was a kid, like I remember going to the doctor and them saying like, oh, you know what, he's gonna need braces. And, And my mom looking at me and you want to wear braces? I'm like, no. She's like, okay. And that was it. That was our conversation, man. The same thing with glasses, man. I needed glasses when I was a kid, and she's like, "You want to wear glasses?" And I'm like, "No." And she's like, "Okay."
Me too. I was the same way.
So it was like,
it's like I'm not a nerd. I'm not wearing.
Yeah. Man, and I wore them later in life, and when my youngest was born, she broke both pairs, man. She would grab them. Yeah. So after the second one, I was like, "Man, screw it. I'm not getting any more, man." And I did, and
I guess maybe contacts. You can do that.
I can't, man. I'm not that guy. I can't even put eye drops on my eye, bro.
People think I wear contacts all the time, but no, these are just my natural eyes. People think I'm like one of those people, like those people that like have those fake contacts that are, the people think that like those are my eyes.
But have you worn contacts before?
No.
You see,
thank God.
No, well, I was gonna say because I can't do eye drops, and I can't picture myself putting my finger in my eye. And
that's terrible.
But you see, does it bother you? I mean, just
it would bother me. I mean, if I had to do it, I'll do it.
And the reason I'm asking that is, how do you deal with, okay, well, I'm gonna fight, this guy's gonna punch me in the eye? Like, I mean, is it kind of, that's when you bob and weave, or?
Man, I don't give a fucking shit what he's thinking about doing. I'm just thinking about me, man. It doesn't. Whatever comes I trust my instincts. I've been doing it for so long. I'm calm in the fire. I'll be honest. My last fight, like in the kickboxing fight, like in the first round, he landed a body kick that surprised me, and it stung. And I had him. I don't know if he really realized that he hurt me to the body, but I was just kind of like, okay, that hurt. But hey, just try to compose yourself. Just. Because it's scary. You get hurt a little bit, and you hope they don't know that you're hurt, and you're just kind of like...
Don't make that eye contact.
Yeah. And I try not to even look in his eyes. Why would I look in if I'm trying to look in your eyes, like, in a deep, sentimental way, it's not going to be with... Why would I do it with some guy? That's just not me, If I'm trying to make deep eye contact, it's probably going to be on a more intimate... passionate level with someone that's not a guy. You know what I mean?
No, definitely.
that's where my mind is going with that. But I try to look at the chest, though. I mean, nothing wrong with that in this case.
Right.
That's where his hands are. That's where his hands, and you can see where he's moving his hips. Like it kind of, it's your hips kind of give it away. Your like core kind of gives away what you're gonna do. Yeah. So that's what I try to do.
You see, and that's funny you say that because I'm a defensive driver when it comes to being around the city, and I read body language. Like I'm like, dude, this idiot's not gonna use his blinker, and he's gonna get on the lane. And sure enough, and it's just the people moving and just kind of. But yeah, I read people when I'm out there, man. Even in a fight, I would imagine, as soon as somebody's
being intuitive, I feel like is so important. Like particularly in competition, because like. Some I'm realizing that some of these like some fighters that are really good athletes, but they're kind of like not really. They can't really blend. Like they can't make adjustments on the fly. Like guys like that can be really good in the gym, but in the fight they can be good, but not quite as good as they are in the gym, and then vice versa. Like I feel like I'm one of those guys that can make. My last fight I made my last two fights actually I made adjustments on the fly. Even like my last MMA fight, that I had to switch from I would shoot for double legs, and he has a good double leg sprawl. So I was like, all right, well I got to go to a single. It's not one of those like I made that like later on in the fight, like the second round, because I tried to do it in the first round like just a double leg and it wasn't working. So I was like, all right, well he's doing the same sprawl. All right, single leg this time, and it worked. So, and it's not just stuff like that. It's
you see, and of course, I mean this. Practice, not just in wrestling, but I mean the fact that you train in MMA, of course.
Yeah.
Now let me ask you, bro. When it comes to training, man, I mean, growing up, I mean, were you kind of content in training? I mean, was it more? I don't want to say people expected you to kind of like, oh man, Mark's gonna be something, somebody. So was that ever like pressure, growing up?
Yeah, I mean. I always wanted that for myself anyway. Like, the fact that those conversations were happening I'm happy about that because that's what I wanted. Like, if you're not in the sport to do that, to try to maximize your life, you're wasting your fucking time.
Yeah.
I'm trying to maximize my life in the sport while I'm in it and after I'm in it, God willing. That's where my head's at, I'm like in life you don't get these passions, you don't get something that you care for so much for no reason.
Right.
In my opinion. It's always been that way for me. I've always been at my best when I've been fighting. I've always been at my strongest and healthiest, and just willing to better myself as a individual than when than I've been in fighting. Like when I've been fighting, like I try to always get myself better than I was yesterday in everything I do, and nothing's ever really made me do that before. So I can't ignore that.
You see, and the fact that you started at a young age, man.
Yeah.
I mean, it's good to see you still doing that, man. Even if you weren't fighting or even competing, man. I'm glad to see you're still at it.
Yeah, no
you don't
kidding.
ever want to give up in life or
Yeah, no
in
kidding.
general. But yeah, and I'm looking forward to what's coming.
Me too.
Maybe later this year, whether it's next month or 2 months.
But I'm in the right place for it, and I feel like I got the right people. I don't think really anybody from this town, like from this hometown, is really, or from this city, I should say, has like, from my stage in my career, go and try to go to a big, area for the sport and really make a name. I could be wrong. Maybe Joseph Benavidez, because he's from this city, but that was kind of a different era, and I think he wasn't really here for that long.
No, but I mean, they've used San Antonio for a lot of fighters. I guess just because of the whole Hispanic, like San Antonio, Texas.
Yeah.
Roger Huerta was one of them. Like, I remember when they're first like, out of San Antonio, and I'm like, and I looked him up, and I was like, where's this guy from, man? And he was like in some shelter home for, I guess, foster home.
Yeah, I know he was in. I heard he was in Texas. I wasn't sure where though.
Well, in Austin. He actually lived in Austin for years, and they didn't use Austin because I guess they didn't sound Hispanic enough. I don't know. But they used
too white, and that's a problem.
Yeah. So they were like, "Hey, put him in San Antonio, man."
Yeah.
But yeah, man, that was just like.
Well, I'm actually from here, so.
There you go.
So, yeah.
And where about are you at? Up north?
Like, where do I live?
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, what side of town?
I live kind of, where like 281 Bitters is.
Yeah.
I'm like right.
Oh, okay.
There. Yeah.
Well, it's not too bad. I mean, from here, 35.
No, it's not too bad. It's not too far.
Yeah, and I'm gonna ask you because you're gonna be leaving. You said Saturday.
Yeah, I'll be leaving Saturday. One of my teammates fights on Sunday, so I want to be there. It's a day drive, and I want to be there for him. He was in the corner for my last my first kickboxing fight, which is very recently, and also my teammates, and he's
gonna return that favor. And
100%.
Man, and I know I probably won't see you before you leave, man, but I'm definitely gonna be here. I'm gonna be available through Skype, so if something else comes up, man, I'm definitely gonna hit you up.
For sure.
And I want to thank you, man. Thank you for stopping by and
thank you for having
hanging
me.
out
I
with me
appreciate
for a while.
it.
This gym's pretty big. Nobody's here. It gets kind of lonely in here, bro. Like.
Yeah. So it's Wednesday. It doesn't usually pack up on a Wednesday, or.
Wednesday, they had noon class earlier, and I think they open at 5 for like kids class. And
Okay. So
whatnot.
this time of day, it's kind of dead.
No, yeah. Normally, that's why I like coming by here around this time.
Yeah, it's perfect.
But I appreciate you coming by, bro.
I appreciate you having me.
Thank you, everybody. Mark Lozano. This is Spider, the Fight Card Podcast. Till next time, follow up.